Interesting selection of news here for the Vancouver Canucks today, as we have ourselves a bunch of hires to go over, as well as an Elliotte Friedman comment that a lot of Canucks fans are angsty to hear about. Yeah, I said angsty. Maybe that's the wrong word to use. I don't know. We'll get into that a little bit later in this video. But let's actually talk about the real, tangible Canucks moves today. Because earlier this afternoon, GM Patrik Allvin announced the Vancouver Canucks have named Kevin Dean, Brett McLean, and Scott Young as assistant coaches for the Vancouver Canucks. Now, Kevin Dean is a guy that we had already spoken about. We made the commentary the other day and we said that, yeah, he's probably going to get hired here. Derek Forbort re-signed with Vancouver partly because he was a big fan of Kevin Dean. Dean helped develop a lot of the Chicago Blackhawks defense core this previous season, and that's a really good D-core, honestly. They're all young, so obviously they're not the best D-core in the world, but for a group that features the likes of Artyom Levshunov, Kevin Korchinski, Vlasic, there are a lot of guys that are younger and developing, and I think a lot of Blackhawks fans were, for the most part, satisfied with how a lot of these players were able to progress. Kevin Dean was a part of that. He also developed a really good system in Boston, which allowed guys like Charlie McAvoy and others to excel, and that's where Derek Forbort knew Kevin Dean from. It's why he was super happy to see Dean get brought into the Canucks organization. And if Dean can do in Vancouver what Adam Foote did for the Canucks D-core this previous year in terms of the defense, there will be a lot of good vibes in terms of the team dynamics and the team results. Of course, though, we just have to hope that Adam Foote is capable of bringing more out of the Canucks forwards offensively. Now, let's speak about some of the other guys here, because there has been a little interesting few notes about some of these other names here. Canucks Nation replied to the Canucks tweet saying, "Oh, yikes. Brett McLean, one of the Canucks' newest assistant coaches, was the head coach of the Iowa Wild this past year. They finished 32nd on the power play and penalty kill in the league with a 13.8% power play, 73% PK. The team as a whole finished 30th in the AHL with 74 points in 72 games, and they were overall a minus 50 in goal differential." Then you also have the other guy, Scott Young, who has been the director of player personnel for the Canucks the last 3 years. Top reply says, "As a Wild fan, thank you for taking that dumpster fire of a coach." So, yeah, I'm not too optimistic about McLean here. He is coming off of arguably the worst run in the American Hockey League as a head coach, with the results on paper of the team, as well as the power play and penalty kill being last. I get it. The AHL team, they're going to have their own systems and their own power play guy, their own special teams guy. It's a little different than just blaming it all on one player, but still, Brett McLean, coming into the Vancouver Canucks organization, does not have the best resume from 2024-2025. And Scott Young, you've probably heard that name before. He has been around the Canucks organization for a few years now. It is going to be intriguing to see how this Canucks staff ends up coaching the Vancouver Canucks. No more Yogi. Seems like no more Sergei Gonchar. He's going to be out as well. No more Dylan Crawford, too. This was all talked about by Rob Williams on Twitter. Yogi, Gonchar, talk it out. Foote promoted, Scott Young promoted, Kevin Dean and Brett McLean brought in. So that seems to be the way the Vancouver Canucks will shape up their coaching staff next season, with Adam Foote having that terrible WHL record, and then, of course, Brett McLean having a terrible AHL record. It doesn't bring the most confidence, but, you know, I want to be proven wrong. I want the Vancouver Canucks to be a good hockey team. Like, seriously, I make a lot more money when the Vancouver Canucks are good. There's a lot more interest and engagement and views on these YouTube videos whenever they have success, so I obviously want to see that happen. I'd be lying to you, though, if I said, yeah, this is an amazing hire and I'm so confident. No, I'm not really. We'll have to hope that these guys prove everybody wrong. But with that in mind, I wanted to shift gears a little bit and start talking more about what Elliotte Friedman said earlier this morning on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Because this is going to be a little bit alarming for Canucks fans and faithful. Friedman said this on the radio, that the Vancouver Canucks are absolutely on the clock when it comes to Quinn Hughes. Hughes is going to start saying, I don't want to be somewhere where I'm not going to win at some point. And yeah, this tweet had 73,000 views, so that is going to be great. A lot of Canucks fans digesting this well and properly. Oh yeah, Canucks have to start winning, or else Quinn Hughes is going to want to leave. That's a fantastic way to start out this summer and the offseason. Because I think a lot of us kind of felt that internally. A lot of Canucks fans felt similar sentiments about how, yeah, Quinn Hughes is probably in a position to want out. There isn't really a strong guarantee that he'll be interested in staying, especially after all the folks that he likes are probably going to leave. No more Rick Tocchet. Besser, I'd assume that Quinn and Brock are pretty good friends. JT is gone too, although I will say, maybe, like, this is just me hypothesizing, asking the question here for y'all to let me know in the comments if you agree, but because of the Miller and Pettersson feud, because of how bad that was, I kind of wonder if Quinn, as the captain of the team, as one of the guys who tried to mediate all of that, I kind of wonder if he was also sick of JT as well. From everything that we have seen about the Miller-Petey feud, you know, a lot of fans are Team Petey or Team JT, team trade one of them, team trade both of them. But Quinn, it seemed like he was Team Petey. And from the way that the rumor mill has circulated stuff going around and whether or not a lot of the hearsay around the team is correct, it does seem like Quinn may have been at some level pissed off at how JT was handling this situation. And so maybe it's not really all too simple. Maybe it's not like, yeah, he actually is upset that JT is gone. Maybe he was a part of the decision-making to help that happen. I don't know, but that's just me speculating here. I do kind of wonder if this will have repercussions longer term. We need Elias Pettersson to be a lot better. That's what everybody is saying here. So if Pettersson can get back to that 100-point caliber form, then okay, that's good. That is everything that we need. If, of course, you assume that everything else around the team is as good as it was prior. The goaltending, well, I will say the goaltending might not be at the Vezina caliber level it was last season. Lankinen, Shilovs, Demko, I believe in them enough to express confidence that the Canucks can be a winning team with them in net. Defense, that was really good last year. Hopefully that stays the same. Although, of course, you know, Adam Foote is no longer the main defensive guy. He's an everything guy now. So Kevin Dean, hopefully he's able to bring a lot of that success that the Boston and Chicago D-Corps had to this Canucks team. But forwards, man, it's up to Patrick Allvin now. It's kind of interesting that Allvin and Rutherford are checking out practice arenas in Vancouver instead of checking out the scouting combine in Buffalo. But ultimately, hopefully, it bodes into some proper decisions into the next few months here. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Firstly, about the Vancouver Canucks hiring guys, making some very questionable moves in terms of the personnel being brought onto the team. And what are your thoughts on Elliotte Friedman'S Quinn Hughes warning? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on. And bye.